Well, we're not going anywhere. I spoke with former Texas Governor Rick Perry and the lone survivor himself, Marcus Luttrell, right from the spin room. And then we got Geraldo in the wings over there screaming, Trump, Trump, Trump. We'll get to him in a few minutes. All right, joining us now, former Texas Governor Rick Perry, also presidential candidate, and our buddy Marcus Luttrell, lone survivor, our good friend of the program. How are you doing?
Great.
You like the debate?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it was
fun, right?
It was. It was a great time. It was. A lot more fun than I thought. Trump.
I agree. What did you think?
Well, I think Donald Trump has gotten better at every debate. I thought he was, from the start to the finish, he was on point. He was leaning into it. He wasn't letting anybody put anything past him. I thought he totally painted her in the corner on an open borders thing. I mean, if there was a powerful moment in the debate for me, it was watching her try to wiggle out of both Chris Wallace and Donald Trump.
She wanted open hemispheres. That's 600 million people, by the way. You know, I had one of my best experiences on the border, and I've been there a dozen times with you. And we were at the Rio Grande, and we were out on a pontoon boat. I'm sure I'm giving the wrong name. But then I sat in a security briefing with you, and people said in a 7-year period of time, 8-year period of time, 642,000 crimes committed against Americans by illegal immigrants crossing our border, just in your state of Texas.
You know, and Donald Trump gets criticized for not being compassionate. Let me tell you what's compassionate. Compassionate is building the secure border that this country deserves so that the people who are in this country legally and are citizens of this country feel safe in their homes. And that's what Donald Trump will do. And that's why people are so excited about him being the next president of the United States, is securing that border. And we know how to do that. And we can.
Well, you did it. You took it over yourself.
Well, we can, because the federal government, Barack Obama he's been a failure as the president of the United States in a lot of areas, but one of the ones that is the greatest is his failure to secure the border.
Right.
Because the government, the Congress would have given him the support that he needed, but you have to have a president, you have to have a White House that is willing to go and say, I want it done now, and here's the way we're going to do it.
I'm mad at you. You really helped Obama out. Because if you didn't create the million jobs in Texas, you would have had negative net job growth. I'm teasing.
1.3 million.
1.3 million. All right, I got to get it right. Marcus, from a military standpoint, let me ask you, because Donald Trump talks about the decline in terms of our readiness, also about, and this is a problem for me, we're going to ask American men to fight, bleed, and die for Baghdad, Mosul, Ramadi, Fallujah, Tikrit, and they do their job. And they do fight, bleed, and die. 5,000 Americans die, and many more disfigured, and many more losing their limbs. And then Hillary says, oops, let's politicize it. She voted to send them in. She pulled them out. And ISIS filled the void. How we can't, as a country, ask guys like you to do that and then pull out and rip away the victory, the hard-fought victory you gave us.
I know a little bit about this. All those cities you answered, I've been there. So, look, the military's not weak. We're not weak. I never felt weak a day in my life. All my brothers that I served with, we're not weak. The guys coming up after us, they're not weak either. All right, no matter what you see on television, we are ready to go at all times. How hard you jerk us off the leash and push us in there is completely up to the leadership, period.
Now you're talking about rules of engagement. But think about this.
You can staple with whatever you want, man. If you're over there fighting and dying for it, it needs to have a purpose. Purpose is what we leave behind here, all the American people. And the biggest thing with the presidency and with this whole deal, man, is that top secret classification and all that stuff you put on the top of the folder. That's the top of the ink, right? Spread that ink out and let it run down the page. You're going to see my name in there. You're going to see Robbie. All the guys that had anything to do with anything going over there, that's what that means. That's our names.
But when we send people over to fight, bleed and die, and they win these cities, and then we give up those cities and pull out because the war has been politicized. 5,000 Iraq, Afghanistan, 58,000 dead in Vietnam. How many times are we going to ask men to fight, bleed, and die, and then pull their victory away?
Forever.
Well, that's wrong.
Oh, I know. But, I mean, you want a real answer, or do you want me to sugarcoat it for you? I hear, I'm older now, and I pay attention. I know.
You couldn't sugarcoat if you wanted it.
I just think, that was one of my main concerns. Like, I've heard that talk before. I know. I put my
tonight during this debate, and particularly Donald Trump talked about our veterans, but I didn't hear the word come out of Hillary Clinton's mouth once. We've got tens of thousands of young people that are coming home after being over a decade at war. Traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress syndrome, there's opioid abuse, there's alcohol abuse. They're killing themselves somewhere around 25 a day. And we've got a federal government that's absolutely failing them.
VA.
And I didn't hear the Secretary of State, the individual that wants to be the President of the United States, even mention the word veterans.
Governor, she sent them, she voted to send them there. She pulled them out, and then she said, we've got to learn from our mistake. Now, if I'm one of the parents of 5,000 dead Americans, and you're saying, oops, I made a mistake and we got to learn from it, I am one pissed off parent.
That's the reason that the vast majority of the veterans in this country
are voting Trump.
Are voting for Donald Trump. That's the reason that the young men and women in uniform today, my daughter just married one Saturday.
Congratulations.
They're voting for Donald Trump.
I heard he had to walk through a fire to get your approval. Is that true? There's a rumor about that.
Auditioning for my daughter's hand was not an easy thing.
Governor,
but he passed.
He did? Obviously. He made it. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Appreciate everything. Marcus, love you, man. Thank you.